The idea came from some work that Tony and I, one of our co-founders, were doing with one of our clients at the time, who was a large CRM organization working in the recruitment space. And they really framed a challenge that they had, which was about getting non-UK workers into the UK seamlessly. And the problem that they encountered was that it was very difficult for those workers to get a UK bank account if they didn't have UK residential history. And that caused problems for both the recruiters and the individuals themselves. It was causing delays and friction. So as we dug deeper, we discovered that there's the same problem as well for quite a number of other different pockets of users, such as international students, who often need to set up payments for things like accommodation before they actually start their courses. So Unizest solves that problem. It's a basic UK bank account that's very easy for non-UK residents to get. And as you mentioned before, they can even apply and set up their account before they leave their home country. And once they get here, we can then issue them with a MasterCard debit card, and their account is ready for them day one. We set up the company almost exactly 12 months ago, and clearly we were talking about it and getting our heads together and working out what the problem was probably about 6 months before then, and really sort of validating that by talking to people in the recruitment space. And then over the last 12 months, we've been gearing up in terms of setting up the technology and getting ready for launch. And that process has almost been exactly 12 months from when we actually incorporated the business. Well, I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's helped. It's helped, but it's probably neutral. I mean, we were first having discussions about this probably about 18 months ago, seriously, and that was obviously before COVID, and we were talking to recruiters about large-scale construction projects, which clearly haven't materialised because of the economy at the moment. However, other pockets of demand are still there. So, for example, there's been a huge growth in the need for adult care workers, and there are other sectors that the UK economy doesn't naturally fill, such as healthcare workers or seasonal agricultural workers, for example. And those roles still need to be filled. They may come from slightly different origin countries. International students are essential for sort of the economics of the tertiary market, tertiary education sector. And by far the biggest origin country there is China. I think in 2019 there was about 220,000 Chinese students in the UK, and that's clearly unaffected by Brexit. But in talking to recruiters and agencies who are involved in bringing people into the UK, the common phrase really is wait and see. UK Inc. has always had an inflow of labour from overseas dating back hundreds of years, and that's not going to stop. So let's wait and see if those patterns change. When we saw the criteria and the process, we sort of thought, why not? The actual application process wasn't particularly sort of paperwork heavy, but it rather focused on the founders, who we were, what our values were, and that is actually something that we quite enjoyed working on. And then once we got past the first stage and we were into dialogue with Matthew and Paul, it became much more of a conversation, and it felt collaborative, quite informal. And we were also introduced to some previous winners, which was quite useful, so we could talk about their experience, and that was helpful. And it sort of became clear that in addition to just investment, there was also help, advice, and support available, which seemed pretty tangible. And we think that would be very useful for us. So that's what became more and more appealing as we got deeper and deeper into the process. Obviously, when you're a startup requiring funding, there are lots of sources, and you don't necessarily know where to go. So to a certain extent, it's you need to try and get it where you can. But I think as we started to talk to more and more people, it felt obvious to us that in addition just to money, with a small team, having a framework and people around would add value as well. I would say give it a go. And I'd say give it a go, because there really is nothing to lose. I mean, even if we were not successful, I think we would feel that the process had been useful in terms of fine-tuning our story, and we got feedback from really experienced entrepreneurs and investors, and we won as well. So that's good. And I think we've already started feeling the benefits of it, that we've had some really good practical help and support in things like helping develop our value proposition. Some external eyes is quite good, because you can get a little bit locked into your own ideas. So in fact, we've actually got a workshop with the guys next week as well. So we're actually already feeling the benefit of that, and it feels much more like a collaborative partnership. Gosh, that's a good question. So we're at an exciting time right now. We're at the cusp of launch, so we're in user acceptance testing at the moment. We're just about to go out into a soft launch phase, and hopefully we will be live in June of this year, which should be in time for quite an important sort of season for recruitment. So international students tend to look at this sort of over the summer months before sort of September, October time, and also sort of seasonal migrants in the food and agriculture sector. So milestones for us is getting live, and hopefully that's June. So by July, August, we hopefully will be setting up our first partnerships, which we're already in dialogue with now, and hopefully getting traction over that first sort of summer period. In 12 months' time, I think we're really going to know a lot more about how our customers use our proposition, what's important to them. We've got lots of other features within our proposition about giving people the best start possible when they come into the UK, with all, because people aren't coming to the UK to get a bank account. They're coming here to start a new life, whether that's starting a new life with a work or in education. So we've put some things to around them, whether that's offers to help them sort of spread those tight budgets, or support and advice through some third parties. So in 12 months' time, we're really going to understand a lot more about our customers, what their needs are, and hopefully from just a customer number perspective, we've got a healthy customer base which is growing, and we really feel that this is the type of product which will grow through referral, people talking to people back home about their experiences and what they did when they came over to the UK. So 12 months seems a long way away from where we are right now, because we're so busy getting prepared for launch, but I think it's going to be a really exciting time for us, and looking forward to it.